deep rifts within the family. Joseph was a strict disciplinarian, and reports of his abusive nature began leaking into the press. In 1979, Joseph's son Michael fired his father as his manager, and took control over his own career. The rest of the Jackson brothers would follow suit in 1983. Personal life. Joseph's personal life also began to suffer. His wife publicly denounced him after another woman gave birth to his daughter. Catherine filed for divorce twice, but eventually dropped both cases. In 1993, his son Michael spoke out against him on the popular Oprah Winfrey Show, detailing the physical and mental abuse he endured from the hands of his father throughout his childhood. This issue split the Jackson siblings, many of whom claimed abuse and several of whom claimed it never occurred. On June 25, 2009, his son, pop icon, Michael Jackson suddenly died. Michael's will listed his mother as guardian of his 3 children. His father, Joseph, received nothing from his estate. Health issues. In July 2015, Jackson was rushed to a hospital in Brazil after suffering a stroke and heart arrhythmia. He had been visiting the country to celebrate his 87th birthday. After being treated, he returned to the United States, but his health remained frail as he recovered. Jackson previously had a stroke in 2012 and reportedly others before that. In May 2016, he was admitted to a hospital in Los Angeles but later posted a message via his publicist that he was doing okay. Death. In June 2018, it was reported that Jackson had been hospitalized with terminal cancer. Daughter Janet subsequently praised him while being honored at the 2018 Radio Disney Music Awards, calling him an incredible father.
Hi, my name is Monica, and I'm a Lyft driver. I love Express Pay because...
I remember reading somewhere he's like, I've never heard Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yes, he did say that.
Even I was like, word.
From New York, Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Let's go. We going. You don't need no prep, Dave.
All right.
Dave's on time
Turn on
today.
his mics there. There you go.
Check. Yes.
Dave, you're on time, man.
Of course. I'm 44 years old now. I'm a goddamn professional.
You do realize that F-bombs, MFers, insertion in any orifice,
Can't do any of that.
Oh, this is live.
we're live right now. This is out of New York
100%
City.
live.
5 million people listening right
People
now.
are driving their kids to school, on the way to work.
All right.
Plus,
all
we're
right.
streamed around the world, too.
Duly noted. My fault.
You didn't do anything yet. You're fine.
Not yet.
Dave Chappelle, ladies and gentlemen, is doing so many shows here in New York City. I made sure to print them out.
What's going on? What's going on? Good morning, guys.
I don't quite know which show.
I mean, I know what's going on, but it's a lot of moving parts in this run.
So, can I ask you a question? What made you, and I mean, you've done it before, but what is the joy you have bringing the music and the comedy together?
Well,
NJ Gaming, what's going on, brother?
I'm a fan of music.
Yeah.
And, from Chappelle's show, like a lot of these people that I'm working with are friends of mine. If I don't know them personally, then I'm at the very least, a admirer of theirs. And it's good, man, when people get together. And a lot of egos have to be pushed aside for us to all be able to work together. And it is a joy, man.
But is it like an extra bonus? Like you knew you wanted to be successful in comedy, but then you've gotten to play this awesome sort of hip-hop ambassador role as sort of a bonus. Like everyone in hip-hop loves Chappelle, and is willing to put their thing aside to come do your show, which is pretty cool.
I mean, well, it's like everyone in the room, we're all part of the culture. We might not rhyme and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, if you have comedy...
Yeah, I'm having a beautiful morning, man. I'm having a beautiful morning.
You've proven that you're aware of this culture. You commentate on it, But for me, I wouldn't even consider myself an ambassador. I'm a fan like everybody else.
I'm Mike trying to look for a fight.
Some of the best practitioners of this job.
And you have some of these practitioners doing your shows.
Oh, yes, I do. Some of the very best.
Who'd you
And it's also the first time that I'll be co-headliner with, like, Chris Rock. Guys that big don't ever get to do shows together, so, like, me and Chris are going to do 2 nights together. We got some special guests coming. It's going to be a swell time.
And are there tickets still available? There are still tickets available, Corey?
Yes, but they're going like hotcakes anymore. Hurry up, get to the internet, run to the phone. Tickets are selling out.
This is the official Dave Chappelle taking over Ebro in the morning. We're going to wake Dave up. We're going to be back. New cameras. What are these new cameras you brought in here for?
well, you know, if you do something this big, you got to document it. You don't do this every year in your career. The thing is, this is a special year for me. The end of this run will be my 44th birthday, the last night of this run.
Wow.
Which will mark the beginning of my 30th anniversary in comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? If I was a military guy, I could retire now.
Right.
A swell pension. Matter of fact, as a comedian,
A swell pension.
I could retire right now.
I think you could, Dave, if you wanted to retire. I think you'd be straight. Some would say you did retire for about 12 years before coming back.
Well, unbeknownst to them, I was slaving away. Hey, everybody, listening to Hot 97, apparently where hip-hop and R&B live. I'm comedian Dave Chappelle. I'm joining.
No, I'm off the next couple of days.
Promoting my upcoming Radio City run, which is going to be epic. Now, Ebro, you would ask me earlier who are some of the people participating. Starting tomorrow night, for the next 4 nights, I will be there with The Roots. Join The Roots, of course.
Yeah.
Will be special guest Lil Wayne. Wow. Ice Cube, Common. The young Vince Staples.
Love Vince.
Big Boy from Outkast and many more. And then the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be there with Chris Rock. Following week, August 9th, the lovely Miss Erykah Badu joins us. And then on August 15th, we have a very special guest.
Oh, wow.
This guest is so special.
Wait, has this been announced yet?
Oh, announced. I believe it might even be sold out. And nobody even knows who the special guest is. And the guest is so special that I can't even say who it is.
Oh, damn. I was going to give you a drum roll and everything. I had the flex bomb. Yeah, it's a flex bomb.
It's a special guest. Very special guest.
It was a very special guest. It's a very special occasion. What do you think we'll bring out? You know, dear ladies and gentlemen, Chubby Checker. He's watching and I'm fucking I'm kidding. It's going to be great.
Now, Dave, a question. This many shows, Radio City, unprecedented for a comedian, yes? Nobody's ever done this before.
Someone has. I shouldn't say. I believe Bill Cosby has the record for me. That's hilarious. I mean, Rosenberg, you were really quick with that one. Oh, boy, yeah. Yeah, but, but actually I think that at the end of this run, we will exceed that picture.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And is it extra special that it's Radio City? There's a certain aura of Radio City.
That venue does mean a lot to me. You know, like the first time that I did a show that was larger than a comedy club was at Radio City. I was 19. I was opening for Aretha Franklin. And then I didn't come back to Radio City until whatever that run we did 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a special place, man. It is.
It's a lot of people don't realize just how long your run in comedy was. I had interviewed David Allen Greer a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about you guys being on the same shows when you were like 16 years old, 15 years old, right?
Yeah, man. I'm like, because I was so much younger.
Yeah, I lost one fight last night, Jason. Lost one fight. I was doing good. And then I lost one, and then I logged off.
Well, to say, David Allen Greer, for example, you've known him for 30 years, remember, he's 58 or something like that.
Yeah. It's like that.
Damn, you just do 58 on? You sure he's 58? He was shockingly old. When he told me, I was like, whoa, maybe 60.
Shock. That's not shock.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked at David Allen Greer.
Seinfeld was 62. I remember one time I was sitting with Eddie Murphy watching television and like sampling something. And he goes, I was old now as Red Fox was in the first season. I was like, oh my God, he goes, I was old now as Carol Connor was in the first season of All in the Family. Yeah, but Eddie looked like Eddie. He still looks the same.
He really does.
Yeah, we eat better, or like we eat
more money.
There's
definitely more money.
Yeah.
Definitely more money, oxygen chambers, nutritionists.
No, he's right, though. He's right. You know, people of affluence don't age the same way as the people. You know what I mean?
But I would say, Dave, you don't strike me as necessarily a nutritionist kind of guy.
Oh, absolutely not. But I live well.
You do live very well.
Yeah, and I have effectively minimized my stress. And I exercise. And all of these factors, I think, will contribute to my quality of life. Maybe not the length of my life, but who knows? I can get hit by a bus, catch some kind of wild cold or Zika or something. I don't know what's going to happen. So I just don't worry about it. I just chill and do shows that I dream about. It's like a fantasy show. I'm like living the dream.
Well, you know that our good friend MIKE-TYSONs often tells me about you. His favorite thing about being around you is that you live the ultimate life in that you do exactly what you want to do on the timeline you want to do it.
Well, it sure looks that way.
It really does. You go to all the fights. You love fights, right? So you always go to all the fights. Will you be at McGregor or Mayweather?
Okay, that fight I might not actually attend.
Because you're worried it could like devolve into like a Bo Goliath.
What's going on? Different vibes?
No, because it has all the suspense of a Globetrotter.
I've already got the silver one, Jason. I've already
Wait, so are you
upgraded it.
gonna watch it at all?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, wait. Let's start with Saturday. You got.
I just need to upgrade it to the gold
You
one.
went, Laura. You went.
Yeah.
Laura, how did you feel about the fight?
Well, I told you guys. See, we had just had the interview.
Well, I
with
appreciate it,
Jason
different
Brother,
vibes.
and
I
felt a
appreciate
little
it. Thank you
different
very
about it.
much.
I felt sorry for him. And everybody looks at me like I'm crazy because I felt sorry for him. Why? Because I felt like when we brought up the mental health issues and then, the way he was just reacting and
You guys brought up mental health issues?
Well, we had to.
He tried to commit suicide.
Appreciate that, man. I've been working lately a lot. A lot.
Yeah, and I just kind of felt like,
And I've been coming home at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. So I haven't had time. I've been so tired. I haven't been wanting to stream.
Morning radio.
So, because I'm so tired, But I'm off today. But I gotta leave.
So when I was at the fight,
But I'm gonna take my PlayStation with me and I'll be online.
Nobody was rooting for him.
But I think I'm gonna do a vlog so you guys can see the bar that we built.
It was quiet in there, at least on my side.
It was quiet because, the fight wasn't that eventful for casual boxing. A real boxing fan is going to at least get caught up in the suspense of can these guys accomplish the things they're trying to accomplish within the parameters of a given round. But a casual boxing fan doesn't understand, like, why aren't they punching each other?
At one point, Garcia was like, hit me, boom, 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 boom.
I did not hear him talking in there. Did you hear Mike?
I read his lips.
You read his lips.
I did not see Mike in there talking. Hit me, I say. Rocky dialogue.
But so are you, you're not interested, you're not particularly interested or excited by Mayweather McGregor?
No, I didn't say that. I mean, it's exciting, but it's just like I'm not going to go and... listen, man. Listen, Floyd Mayweather's probably training as we speak.
Yes.
And as he's training, do you know what Conor McGregor's doing? Learning how to box. right. He can fight a guy that was born with boxing gloves on.
Right.
10-ounce gloves. So it's just like, I just don't see how McGregor can do it.
And in your situation, when you go to a fight, you sit in the most expensive seats in the house. And are they always comped when you get those seats? You sometimes have to pay, right?
Of course, yeah.
So you have to weigh, if you're going to buy the most expensive ticket, is it worth it to drop $70,000 to go watch this fiasco?
Now, I will say about the McGregor-Mayweather fight that it's such a spectacle that in and of itself is worth seeing. That I feel like no matter what happens, Conor McGregor is a very big winner and talked himself into a lot of money. It's his first fight, and he gets to fight the very best. And I just feel like that's what the fight's going to look like.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you, we got a little bit weirded out when the racial overtones have gotten a little...
You said it off the air earlier, but I'll say it. Boxing's racist and been racist a long time. I'm going with Floyd Mayweather just because he's black, not because I like him as a person. And I know he's a better fighter.
Honestly, man, racial overtone. I mean, for what I do, my ears are a lot less sensitive than most people. And in my heart of hearts, I believe that these guys are great fighters. McGregor's from a different genre of fighting, but it's not like I don't respect what he does. I just don't think he's as good at boxing.
Specifically,
Right. So a lot of people would say Floyd Mayweather should act a certain way because of his stature or his celebrity. And I propose that perhaps his excellence is his message because he's really, really good at boxing. Like in that circle square, he might be one of the most competent people on earth. And he's doing what he actually does. He's great. And life is complicated. Everyone messes up in life, but can't everyone box that good? And so I enjoy Floyd Mayweather. And I enjoy Conor McGregor. And I don't get bent out of shape by things he says because I know he's getting ready to fight a guy. And I'm sure he has to feel deep in his
Right.
And
My brother's a first sergeant in the Army.
I would let Floyd Mayweather beat me up for that kind of money. If you want to take a fight with me, I'll do it.
That would be.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll. Let's go.
It would be slightly less competitive than what you're going to see on the 26th.
Coming to Netflix next, a Dave Chappelle special. Chappelle versus Mayweather. 1.
I wouldn't even get my ass whooped out.
What? You take the.
Yeah, as soon as I open the door, I just jump on the floor, count the thing, and walk. Life goes on, man. That kind of ego.
Well, speaking of Netflix, were you happy with the way your specials were received?
That's a good question. You know what? To be honest, yeah, sure. I mean, one thing about putting anything out is you can't control how it's going to be received. And I think people were, by and large, very fair and thoughtful about how it was received.
Are you working on one?
Yeah, look out, because no one can see.
Are these Netflix people around us as we speak?
No, but they are everywhere.
Dave, are you into the Jay-Z album?
444?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's into that.
Everybody?
Well, you know, listen, man. I am 444. I'm turning 44, man. You know, this guy is saying stuff that I want to hear. And I can understand all the words.
So you're not a big fan of songs where you can't understand the words?
Oh, I didn't say that. I mean, but it's just like this for a person of my time, man. This guy. And it's the first time I think that a guy of his age can make a relevant record. And it's fun to see a genre like hip-hop be mature like this. Guys, Jay-Z is like, he's like a guy, he went to space and came back, bro. He's a billionaire from Mars. I appreciate it. It's fun to see that.
And we never knew that. Everyone thought hip-hop was a young man's game because it hadn't been around long enough to allow people to age. But Hov could keep putting out albums like Bruce Springsteen or Paul Simon or anyone like that.
Yeah, and to his credit, like, for instance, if I had that kind of money, you would never see my ass again. I guarantee you. I would maybe do comedy in clubs or something, but I wouldn't necessarily be out here promoting anything.
I don't think, is he even promoting? He owns Tidal. He just throws it up on Tidal. Nobody's seen him talk to him nothing. I don't think, he's with his babies. He's with the babies.
He's going to go into it when he wants to.
Of course.
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, I don't think,
You would too. If you owned Netflix, you would put up a comedy special when you felt like it.
Or would I?
Or not. Or not.
Nah, I would, man. You know, I just respect the fact that he's been so true to the game for so long.
How big a fan how early did you become a Hov fan? Because you're a real hip-hop fan. Were you on Reasonable Doubt like when it came out?
Reasonable Doubt was a big record, man. Streets was watching. That was a big record. I mean, you know, I remember all that stuff. It was dope. It was fun. Back in those days, too, I used to see him around in New York. Like, if you go out at night, there's a couple spots you always run into him, like 30th Cent, you just see him. And he got his varsity jacket fairly early.
Yeah, legend status.
Yeah, fairly early.
You know, I'm letting these daily tokens build up right now.
Yeah,
I think I got 16 of them now.
He saved money early, too. That helped.
Yeah. Remember back in the day when it was a big deal, he made $100 at the Apollo?
Yes.
Check it out here.
Never go. What's 50 grand to a guy like him?
What other recent albums you've been sitting with, Dave?
Everybody loves that Kendrick record. That kid's doing it. That kid's perfect reflection of many great influences. Like, you know, when he's probably coming up listening to music, I think he had a good diet.
Yeah.
Because the way he refines it, I like him. He's fun to watch too.
Have you seen him live? Have you had a chance?
Well, do the BET Awards count?
Yeah.
Oh, and then he opened for Kanye that one run. Yeah, I seen him live.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when he opened for Ye on
have you spent any time digesting the Hov lines on his album about Kanye?
No, you know what, man? I don't get lost in the woods trying to decipher Jay-Z lyrics. If I really, really want to know, I'll call somebody and ask them.
Who's your go-to call for explain hip-hop lyrics to me?
I don't know. Mose, if I could reach him, I guess.
You had the chance to interview Kendrick for Interview magazine. What was that like? And were you able to just talk to him about whatever you wanted?
Yeah, man, he wasn't a defensive dude, man. I think he understood I came with peace. And I'm a fan of his, and I think the thing that I was impressed by him was that he sounded very introspective and thoughtful. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he puts it down. I think he stays in private. Guys, like, you can tell when you talk to guys sometimes, like, you know, this guy's working through problems. He's figuring it out.
Yeah.
He's smart dude, man. Now, granted, when I spoke to him, I was in the back of a car on the road on my way to, like, dinner. And he was in the middle of, you know, God knows what. So if I had, in a perfect world, I would have liked to have sat down with him face to face and had more of a conversation like we're having now. Well, not like we're having now, but, you know, just actually talk. But he was very open. I mean, especially considering we're on the phone and, you know, there's a guy from Interview Magazine recording the conversation and all that. You know what I mean? Those things, there's a lot of moving parts. And he never put his guards up. He didn't sound tired or evasive or anything. He just talked.
Do you believe in a lot of times in the hip-hop conversation, people, of course, laud Kendrick for his lyrics, and me being the foremost to do that.
You're a nut hugger.
Me being the Kendrick nut hugger of a generation.
You hear that kids going to school in the back of the car? Nut hugger. Never talk about nut
They
hugger.
know. All the kids know.
The kids have already learned that. But a lot of people then give Drake a hard time because of the thing that was brought out about the lyric writing, etc. Do you think when you talk about all-time greats, do you use that as a strike against Drake, or do you really consider Drake to be an all-time great as well?
Those questions are tough. Listen, when it comes to art, right? Results matter. So if I listen to a Drake record and I like it, and then somebody comes behind that and starts telling me everything that's in the hot dogs, I ate the hot dog and I like it. It's done.
Right.
You know what I mean? However, if I'm making art, I would rather do it myself.
Got it.
That for me, part of it is like, what can I come up with? And I'm engaging these people. But I don't mind people that make their art via committee. If there's, you know, I don't know what to do.
Because the results, like you said, the results matter.
I ate the hot dog. I like the hot dog. And it depends on how I'm using
Drake makes some damn good hot dogs.
Kosher dogs.
Yeah,
now,
is that kosher dog?
Sure. Now,
it might be out there. It may not be kosher.
Are you talking about his circumcision?
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. I gotta tell you.
Guys, wait a minute. I'm going to step in here. I am not willing to
Terrence, what's going on?
Drake's penis. I don't want to talk about this.
I felt like it's tied together with nut hugging.
He went from the balls all the way up to the tip. We got to change this conversation immediately.
Okay, so Dave, your birthday's coming up, right? It's the last day on Radio City. How do you celebrate your birthday? I know you have some special surprises during the show, but how do you celebrate
in life,
your
though?
birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay, after I quit my show, I don't remember how old I was or what, but I remember I was like on the walk, and I started riding motorcycles. So I rode my motorcycle like from Ohio, and then I was like in Austin, Texas, which took a long time. And it was my birthday, and I was riding up 6th Street in Austin, and I saw some bar. Pulled the bar over and I walked in. It was like late, it was like 2 in the morning, so one minute people there. I go, wow, stage stuff. We give him a microphone. I'm like, yeah, that's on DJ booth. Then that DJ booth, and I did a set. This when Twitter was still like new. And I didn't know that was
Gosh, damn it.
Because they was tweeting like,
you're not going to believe that he's just in here drinking, talking all crazy stuff. And I probably rocked for like 4 hours that night. One of the best birthdays I can remember recently. Another time I was in Colorado when I ended up doing a show, and Common was there visiting his dad, and he came to rock the birthday. You know, it was spontaneous and fun. Yeah, birthdays, you know, my birthday, the way I celebrated was I try to make a memory with that. Like my best birthday, I can remember my 16th birthday because I had such a good time.
What was it?
I was in D.C., and a bunch of my brothers surprised me. My brothers took me to our old neighborhood. He goes, yeah, man, it's like reminiscing and stuff. And then
you
a
bitch.
bunch of our friends from elementary was sitting in a park.
Get the fuck off of
Man,
me,
the show
you
was on
punk.
in D.C. that night. We all went to the it was the first time listening. And the MC was a guy named Patton Oswalt. He's pretty damn famous.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but I remember all these birthdays, you know. Comedy is what I like to do. I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're living the dream. You are truly living your dream.
Well, the thing is, though, but it's not easy. You know, I sincerely make a point, literally, I make a point to manufacture quality memories. Because it's the only thing I believe they can't take away from.
Give us a little insight to those parties you've been throwing at a Barnes in Ohio.
Oh, which ones? The
Barnes,
orgies
other places.
or the-
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You went orgies. You went orgies on that.
Not orgies, not orgies.
How'd you get sign off on that? I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about how you got sign off on that.
No, the party is like, it's a juke joint, man. It's like, we put full production in my neighbor's farm.
Fuck off,
And we
nigga.
rock out. I got this band, I call the band with no name. Really, it's just a bunch of people I play from city. And different artists come through and just rock out in the farm. But you gotta understand, where I live, this is the big man. There's no cell phones in none of my shows. We don't have cell phones. So your
Mark Hunt is a heavyweight guy.
You know,
That ain't got the best figure. He could fight.
and God shit. And people come through. John Legend rock better. Tribe Called Quest rock better. I mean, we've been all kinds of people.
Chance, I think. Heard Chance before.
Yeah, Chance rock with us once. Smokes rock with us once. Daylight rock with us in London. Ed Sheeran came by in London right after he'd done Wembley Stadium, man. And it came with us. We were in a little loft in London. We just rock out. And you get to see people do stuff that you wouldn't normally see them do. Big artists come. It's like there's no ego. I'm not paying anybody anything. People just do it. It's all love, man. We all just look out for each other.
The pivotal moment in our relationship right now, Dave Chappelle.
Wow.
You brought up Ed Sheeran, which made me think of Game of Thrones. Earlier on the show, I pissed a lot of people off who listen to the program because there's people like, I can't afford HBO, so I don't watch Game of Thrones. And I assaulted people's intellect. I said, look, if you don't watch Game of Thrones intellectually, you and I are in a different place. And my place is better than yours.
Wow. Yeah. So I know what's coming next.
Dave Chappelle, do you watch Game of Thrones?
Them Thrones.
Them Thrones.
You watching them Thrones?
Of course I do.
Yes!
But I did not see last night.
Oh,
That's fine, that's fine,
So
that's
no
fine.
spoilers.
Yes.
How last night the Dragons?
No. By the way, that's what Alexa
But
did.
you know, it's funny. I got on late. I like binge watched and caught up because I used to be on the tour bus and there's a couple nerds on my bus that always be talking about it. Man, and you hear bits of their conversation, dragons and all this. I'm like, man, it sounds whack.
Fuck, I have no stamina. I'm gonna get knocked the fuck out. That's it.
And then you were chiming about the dragons.
Yeah, then it was like, yeah.
Yesterday, Alexa's dad, my wife's father, wrote her, was like, she was like, Dad, did you watch Game of Thrones yet? He's like, no, I'm at dinner. I didn't see it. Don't spoil it. She was like, damn, the dragons ate Jon Snow. Sad. But it's a special kind of show. I had mixed feelings about Ed Sheeran's appearance, but it wasn't bad.
I didn't care. This is what I care about, Dave. You know a lot of white people. How much, and for people who don't watch Game of Thrones, there's a whole movement about how Game of Thrones really can teach you about white people and the things that motivate them. Right?
Wait, I haven't heard this yet.
There's a whole article.
What is this article in though? It's better.
It's on a black site. It's black
Black
site.
Tail. Black Tail has an article.
It's like root.com, I think. And they started the hashtag Thrones y'all and all that Twitter stuff. They're a part of that. Do you feel, for the people who don't watch Game of Thrones, that there is anything to learning white people through Game of Thrones?
Well, why don't we say it like this? Why don't we say that Game of Thrones illustrates certain concepts that are part of the dynamics of power.
Okay.
And the manipulation of power and leverage in high-end situations. It'd be like if you made a show about 50 Cent's book, The 48 Laws of Power.
Okay.
Laws of Power. Yeah, I mean, you know, and white people are often powerful in our walk of life, so maybe in that sense it's eliminated.
Yeah, because the article goes on to talk about the dragons are white privilege.
All right, then they're going to.
Because Daenerys is just born with these dragons that you just fire on anybody at any time. She ain't got nothing to worry about. You can't burn her, you can't harm her, can't do nothing.
Yeah, so I got to think about it. I got to digest that. I don't know if that didn't immediately ring true.
And then they said winter, what do they call the White Walkers?
Mm-hmm.
The White Walkers.
Who are the White Walkers?
The White Walkers is racism. It's always coming. It's KKK. It's always on
I think I'm gonna go buy a new controller
The
today.
White Walkers are so much more dangerous than the KKK. The KKK are pathetic in this place.
racism.
Okay, the White Walkers are terrifying.
I've got to read this.
Where in D.C. were you born?
Washington Hospital Center.
And what section of D.C. did you grow up in?
Well, several. I used to live in Silver Spring from like 0 to 10, and then I lived in the Northeast on East Capitol Street.
Did you hear the really sad D.C. news from the weekend?
That Cool Disco Dan died.
Yes.
Man.
Wow, really?
The legend Cool Disco Dan passed away.
Yes, I did. You heard that country big? Yeah, Cool Disco Dan.
He was for people listening who may not know, he was a iconic graffiti artist, and his tag, Cool Disco Dan. I mean, Dave, your entire life must have been seeing. I'm from Montgomery County, so I only saw it some, but in D.C., you saw it all the time.
Yo, you see it on the bus, like written on the seat. This guy was ubiquitous. Like he just rode all over the city. Cool Disco Dan. And then at a certain point, it's like some Turk 182 stuff. At a certain point, people were like, who is Cool Disco Dan? And there was a paper in D.C. that went and found this guy. And he was like a street legend. He was like a local, like, oh, yeah. He was a funny reference local. And he just passed away.
Just passed away. And there's a great documentary that came out a couple years ago about him. That's phenomenal.
There's a documentary about Cool Disco.
Yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it to you. I got a DVD of it. It's phenomenal.
All right, stuff.
Phenomenal. But yeah, rest in peace, Cool Disco Dan.
Dave, you have some shows announcing today. What's the deal, man? Radio City, more Radio City dates?
Yes, going on sale today at 3 o'clock. Joining the lineup will be Solange.
Oh. Yeah. Wait a minute. Nobody's heard this before.
No, this is breaking stories.
Oh, wait, hold on. Set him up.
He did.
Set him up.
He did.
Got out the right thing.
That's right. Solange going on sale today at 3 p.m. Also joining me at Radio City will be select members.
5 p.m., Dave.
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Excuse me.
In the newsroom over there in the corner, they say 5 p.m.
Correction. Okay, correction. We are going on sale with Solange's show at 5 p.m. And also joining me, select cast members from Saturday Night Live. Leslie Jones, Michael Che, and Colin Jost will be joining me. Please check your local ticket listings. I don't even know where do I tell people to look for this?
Ticketmaster.com.
Ticketmaster.com. You try, but of course.
And all the shows, will there be more added after this, or is this the last?
Well, I guess we.
You know what? Stephen A. Smith might be a good one, Jason Morris. You know, Stephen A. Smith might be a good one.
August 18th, I'm co-hosting with the Daily Show's Trevor Noah. And then, of course, Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, on the 19th. And on August 20th, Miss Lauryn Hill. She'll be there. And then on August 23rd, the day before my birthday, I reunite with my brother, Yassine Bey and Talib Kweli. It's going to be fun.
Has talking about Trump gotten boring for you? You were part of the SNL skit when you guys did the whole election day.
Yeah, you guys did a great skit. The black people watching the Trump results was a great phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm going to save that one.
That was actually me, Neil Brennan, and Chris Rock on it.
And that seemed very you. The idea of not being surprised by that.
Oh, that's what, you know, the night that he won the writer's room at SNL stopped. And that was my answer. Like, I was more worried about coming back to television than I was about what happened in LA.
Right.
I live in Ohio. I could see it coming.
You knew this was going to happen.
I knew you.
But you could see that it's possible.
I traveled the country and tell jokes, and I felt a climate where it was conceivable that this guy running that campaign could beat that candidate. Yeah, you could see it. In New York, you can't tell.
Right.
You know, like all this talk about Mexicans and getting ice. You know, New Yorkers don't know nothing about Mexicans and. Well, you know ice, but not like Texas, not like Arizona, not like west of the Mississippi, you know, and in the coastal cities, you just don't know what's popping in the middle. You don't know.
So that night, were you guys still at SNL working on election night?
Yeah, it was eerie, man, because they were doing this thing at the skating rink at Rockefeller. Lost brother didn't swim. And that episode got nominated for an Emmy, so we'll see how it goes.
All right. Silver lining.
Yeah, ironically, the episode from the week before it was nominated for an Emmy too. So I probably won't win, but I thought that was dope.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, given all that happened that week, I was very impressed.
Well, I remember the night of the election, I was working for Complex doing this party, and when I started getting the information from family I have that knows a lot more than me that it was going bad, Common showed up. And I went up to Common, and I was like,
They keep going against the same guys, Jason.
she's going to lose. And that was the first moment I realized that progressive black people, though saddened by it, were not as surprised as I was. He kind of looked at me like, And I was like, my whole life had fallen apart in front of me. And it just seemed like my black friends did not take it the same way. It just was not a surprise in the same way.
We've been here before.
I think I was surprised that the factions that control the way things go would allow this. I didn't think he would get as far as he got in his campaign. When he got that far, I remember we were talking about it on there. I'd be like, all right, if y'all want this guy to be president, it's not going to affect my pocketbook, but boy, this is going to be embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, this guy, where we living, man? What we doing? What's with all these things that are happening? He's just not the biggest king again. Like, the biggest threat to America is America. You know, when it comes down to it, we're either fighting against each other or fighting for each other. You know, and his rhetoric is divisive, but in the world of cause and effect, maybe it's a good thing. For instance, Hillary Clinton didn't unite the women voters, but that Wednesday morning, they was united.
I know, that's true.
Like maybe it'll just save everybody by accident.
That's what we've started to hope for. Yeah.
That we are in a hope. We are in a enjoying watching people, because I find myself happy that people have a common enemy. I feel like, right? Like I feel like people want. Like it's the first time in my time in media that I feel like people yearn for information. They want to learn.
I've learned a lot. You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't think I've ever used the word collusion in my life before the last 6 months. Yeah, can you remember saying the word collusion in casual sentence? Now we don't. Vocabulary is getting better. Government protocol, we're getting an education, because every time we break government protocol, they tell us what protocol is. Americans are learning a lot right now, and it's the first time that maybe a voter will actually be educated and can figure out how to talk.
Does Trump make it 4 years?
Oh, are we gambling?
Yeah, over on.
Yeah, I'm going to say he'll make it through 4 years because the Kansas government is slow. Even if they try to get him out, it's taking 5 years to get him out. Right, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, does he get another term? I doubt it. I don't know who the other side's going to run. So, yeah, I think he'll make it to the end of his term. I imagine he would.
Well, you live in Ohio for how long now?
Man, I was living in Ohio when we was doing Chappelle show. Like, when we finished Chappelle, I go back to the farm.
Why did you decide on Ohio? Why did that become the place for you?
Because my parents split up when I was a kid, and my dad had lived out there. And he got real sick in like '98, so I would drive back and forth from New York. You know, and there's like no good
fucking bitch, right?
Bought a house, and then at a certain point, I just moved into the house. And when I quit the show, I moved back into the house. Because here's a treadmill. Like I could live in New York, I can afford it, but I would have to work all the time. And in Ohio, I could do that for a long time now. As far as people out there, no, I don't. They never think of it.
And I'm sure the house you got was lovely and, I mean, ridiculously affordable, and you can just pay for it all and sit on it.
Yeah, ridiculously affordable. That's it. Black, my life does have its extravagance. I'm not going to front. But the core of what my life is very simple.
What are the extravagances? I know you do private jets sometimes.
Yeah.
Or all the time.
Yeah. I go to jets and I go to these great fights. And, you know, sometimes I peacock a little bit and rock some fly stuff. I got every
Peacock. Please explain.
You know, do bootcut. We wear some fine stuff.
Put on some clothes, like show out the fabric, like the feathers. Okay.
It's dressing nice, and it's like I'm wearing all status.
Got it. But you don't do that often, right? Like,
No.
How do you decide when you're gonna show out?
You fucking chump with that goddamn fucking clinch, Bri.
I don't know, man. You know why I do it though? People like it. I just want to be like everybody. I want everybody to think I'm cool and oh look, it's nice. You know, but I'm not really into clothes like that. I'm not a fashionista, but every once in a while, I just want people to know that I can.
Do your kids ask you for extravagant things?
No, my kids are very simple.
Really?
Yeah, like things like fame, my kids don't really have a relationship with what it is I do. This last year, because things been going so well, they do laugh until they see something change around it, but they're not. Where we live, like stuff like this is important to a kid in New York, like their sneakers and stuff. There's very little social capital in that for my kids. So they don't trip out.
Are people used to you out there, so like you and your kids can go out without you being mobbed?
Well, that's the crazy thing. So I live in the heart of Trump country, and sure, I can move around, man. People are generally nice. They stop and talk to me all the time, but they're used to it. Like, you know, I'm just like, I mean, right now, it's like I'm the Warriors or something. I'm like a local team they root for. Like, they're proud, man. You know, it's really cool. My neighbors doing this stuff. They saw me when I was going through it, and then they see me down. I'm just having this vastly better time.
There's a lot of black people out there. Mixed.
Yeah, Ohio is not. Yeah, we out there. We're out there. Hell yeah, we out there. It's like I live in the closest big city. I'm like 15 minutes away from like Dayton. So a lot of that. Black people. Yeah, you know. It's politically, but where I live is a very liberal town. It's like a very far left. It's like a Bernie Sanders island in the Trump state. It's a lot red out there. It ain't down. It's where you are. People travel. It's culture. It's just not New York.
Would you say, I mean, I'll say it, but I want to know your opinion. I believe that you're the most multicultural as far as the people who appreciate Dave Chappelle. Comedian that we've seen in the last, since Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Easily, right?
Yeah, Eddie's a so totally cross-cultural, yeah.
No, I appreciate it, man. You know what?
Chris Rock too. I would say Chris Rock too, but
I think that it got. I don't know. My life is diverse. You know what I mean? Like I see the world. I go, you know, all these guys. You come to the station. We all travel the world and this, that, and the other. And our worldview gets big, and in comedy, we talk about more things, more people listen to you. The more things you know about, or the more things they recognize. It's cool, man.
Do you think it helped that you were like the half-baked?
Yeah, I was going to say,
you and Jim Brewer, right? You guys did this movie that was like such a it was just a stoner movie. It was for everyone. It was a stoner. You think that helped set it off in that direction?
I mean, listen, I don't knock any of the stuff that I did because everything helped in some way, form, or fashion. Even if the help was to just inform me about something. But I don't know. I don't take that kind of inventory. For me, it's like, I don't know. I just remember it from the inside out. I don't know what other people think about the stuff I do. And I try not to seek that information out. There have been a couple times I might have drank something and Googled myself. but I try not to swim in the deep water of other people's opinions.
And so you don't get over impacted by reaction to stuff like, I'm a bitch. I'm always looking at Twitter and getting upset.
He reads comments.
I read comments. He doesn't ever really do that. Laura's good at that. I'm bad at that. Are you affected by stuff like that, or you're good at removing yourself?
Oh my God, dude! I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I don't do any of that stuff. The only way I know about the stuff is because everyone else just tells me about it. My wife. It gets real bad. She'll let me know, like, oh, you should look into this or that.
You might want to research that. Right. There's a lot of people saying.
She'll let me know, but for the most part, man, I try not to pay attention because you don't want to be careful with it. You know what I mean? I try to keep my business small enough so it can still be authentic enough. You get on the big stage, you got to be a little more careful. so I stay off it.
Well, while in New York, will you be popping up into any these local comedy clubs?
Can't help it.
I was there last night.
Yeah,
man, that's why I'm so tired. It was fun. It was worth it. We got it in. We went to Comedy Cellar last night, and we went to Village Underground last night. And right before that, I was at Randall Island. I went to go check Tribe.
How was Tribe? Yeah, Panorama yesterday.
It was great, man. You know, it was good.
Did you ever know Jerobi could rap so well?
No. Did you know he can cook so well?
Yes.
I did know that.
See, that I knew.
that.
But when the album came out, I was like, wait, who's the other guy rapping?
Yeah.
And they were like, it's Jerobi. I was like, Jerobi raps.
Yeah, his verse was fire.
They're
man.
good.
First, he got a few on that
The
album.
whole album is good. Dave, do you have any guilt or concern about your smoking habit? I'm someone who loves smoking. I'm currently not, but I always live with sort of guilt when I'm smoking.
And you're fidgeting 2 empty packs.
Oh no,
He's talking about cigarettes.
Cigarettes, not weed. I know you don't care about weed, but
Do I have any guilt about it now?
does it concern you? Like, you don't have any fear about it?
Well, now we're getting into a more philosophical conversation.
Are both those boxes empty?
They're both relatively empty. Yeah, they're both empty. Fear, no. No, I think that if I quit smoking, it would improve the quality of my life, perhaps, in some ways, but not necessarily the length of my life. I'm afraid of it.
But why do you think that how would it improve the quality? Like,
Because I could probably breathe better and walk up a fine step. But
you also need to enjoy smoking.
right, that's what I'm saying. So I said in some ways improves quality of my life. Well, I sure will miss sitting in that easy chair, that ashtray and just puffing, relaxing, or talking with your buddy. You know, the cigarette thing. You know, I sound like a commercial cigarette, but I tell you, this is how I started smoking. I do think I started smoking because of the comedy. I was walking in Metro or something, D.C. Cigarette company here in Motor. They gave me a pack of cigarettes.
At Metro Center.
I was 14 years old. Now I gotta tell you, I
Lawsuit.
probably looked really young. So if anything ever happened to me smoking, I'm like, oh, I'm coming.
But you smoked it and you were like, ooh, this is delightful.
Yeah, it was ill, man. I was even crazier than that. I took the cigarettes home, and I literally said, you know what? I'm going to learn how to smoke. And like comedy stuff, I didn't realize I could so good.
Because at first, I'm guessing you first took one, you're like, oh, this is bad. No one really enjoys their first cigarette. You didn't get nauseous at all from the first one?
Well, you know, I almost said something, but I don't want to say what brand it was.
Let's take a look at it one more.
You're scared they'll come for you? Or
No. I just don't.
He's coming for them. You don't want to get the heads up.
I don't want to be like, well, that promotional cigarette pack really didn't work out. We just got a plug on it.
It finally paid off.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, I think eventually I will quit smoking.
Well, what a moment for this
It's like a
fighter here
bad
tonight.
habit, you know. I get it, but it is what it is. I'm back from the 80s. Like, even when I think about comedy in my dreams, it's always like smoking rooms. Like the first time they were like, you can't smoke in a comedy club, it just felt like strange because it was such a part of the fabric of the environment.
Well, isn't it nice that you're so famous that whenever I've seen you perform in comedy, you're always smoking in comedy clubs where you can't smoke cigarettes?
Well, thank God that'll work out. I made it just in time.
Dave Chappelle, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you taking over the show today.
Well, man,
Anything you didn't say that you want to say before you get out of here?
man, first of all, I appreciate you, bro. People don't know, we used to hang out all the time at Chappelle show.
Yeah.
And I mean, we was like real cool, man. And I watched the show, and I miss Cypher on the show.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah,
But
but
now he's making big money.
Too, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Where were you guys? Red Rocks or
Yeah,
something?
we just played Red Rocks
Yeah.
together, man. We've been killing it. So, you know.
Takes horrible pictures at all of
Do
you.
you remember?
That was
Do you
kind of
remember the
like-
night of the Jay-Z R. Kelly at Madison Square Garden?
Well, the night you got like R. Kelly got maced or
Yes,
something.
when
Yes.
they allegedly Tata maced R. Kelly. Da 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 da.
I do. I wasn't there though.
You called in that night. Me and Angie was up here that night. You sure you wasn't there, or was the next night you was there?
Hell yeah, we did call. I can't remember what we was talking about.
We was talking about what just happened at Madison Square Garden, because we was waiting on Jay and R. Kelly to come to the station that night.
What ended up happening? They squashed. I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know.
No, that was the end. That
Jay
was
went on
the end of
to
that.
Jay went on to finish the tour, right, by himself with other special guests.
And this is before. Did the PP story break by then?
This is
before
just
peeing on the girl
pre.
video.
Yeah, I think
Just
Pre-pee.
Just pre-pee. Just pre-pee. Before you bodied R. Kelly. I mean, you really did.
Yeah, I didn't.
You guys aren't close, I'm guessing.
Body him. I didn't like body.
But your sketch was the cultural stamp of like, this is what we think of R. Kelly. Everyone loved that sketch.
It was funny, dude. Look, I'm not even gonna lie. That was the one sketch, Corey, you can attest to this. I was gonna cut it. Cause I said, but then I watched it and said, man, this is so funny. And this is the crisis. Can the audience handle it? So we left it in there. The only time will tell if I should have.
Did you ever hear from...
It's done.
It's done now. Time's told.
What time schedule?
You got it right. You got it right. You did fine.
But wait, did he ever say anything about it? I remember reading somewhere he's like, I've never heard Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yes, he did say that.
Even I was like, word. Nobody mentioned it. Like, you need to. Because that's one of the times my wife be like, you better get on this internet and see what they're saying. And I'd be like, you never heard of this. But it was cool, man. I mean.
Did you, you met Prince in life after the sketches, right?
Yes, man.
Did you guys have like a relationship? A rapport?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, very much. You know what? Even back when I was like working in clubs in New York, Prince used to come check me out. Like before people was really on me. Prince was always a little ahead of stuff. He was on me, but when I quit my show, I think we became like friends.
He reached out.
Yeah,
Prince respects that.
Yeah,
Prince respected
right.
that. He respected that.
That was like he knew I was going through my grown man stuff, and there was certain things that he could say to me after that that if he had said before that, I wouldn't even have known what he was talking about. Some wild woods out there. Well, you quit a show the way I did. That's an education. I really don't recommend it.
Public service announcement.
Yeah,
from Dave Chappelle.
I mean, it worked out. All's well that ends well, but you don't know things are gonna work out.
Wait, so why would you say you don't recommend it though?
It's just difficult. It was a difficult time.
Speaking of difficult time, let's just get this part in because we have to, being on the airways. We haven't seen you since Charlie passed away. And he was a regular, he was just, in addition to everything on your show, frequent part of our lives in New York City, on Hot 97, everywhere. Just, it must have been pretty tough for you.
That was real. I mean, honestly, man, I didn't even know he was sick. And maybe I feel like, I don't know, feel guilty about that or something. Like, maybe I should check.
We didn't
either, and he had come in, and none of us knew.
But apparently at the funeral, there were people that were closer to him than I and they didn't know. He was very private about what he was going through. But his son gave a real beautiful eulogy at the funeral. And part of what he was saying was that his father didn't like mourn himself. His dad had done everything that he wanted to do, and that was for me personally, that was very comforting. And I feel like to say I was like grateful to meet that guy is an understatement. I feel like one of the big reasons I'm successful is because of him. Like we all at lunch and he just says something crazy like, I fought Rick James many times, and that conversation changed my life. Like
right.
We made that sketch and it changed his life too. But like we, it's kind of like graduating together. Like we, did this thesis and everyone went on to do real great stuff. He was a very generous person, and he was hilarious, and he was very wise.
My favorite thing is that he didn't even know how